Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Good morning Mom Nadia. We are from Group 4. Allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Rahmatulika. And then Sinta Nisrina Adiba. And then Atika Primandita. Now, we will present our material today under the title How to Teach English to Children. English by nature is very intangible and abstract. Children, on the other hand, are very literal and concrete. Do you remember when an adult asked you something and you just start open mouth because it was all gobbledygook to you? That's exactly what ESL beginners feel in the English classroom. When the teacher starts rambling or speaking or talking in a language but they don't understand, they will just get nervous and shut down. Why beginners are a little more challenging? Absolutely, beginners are taught not to correct because they have no previous knowledge of English. They will be coming to you raw, sometimes without knowing ABC or numbers or common phrase like hello, goodbye, and they want to know about nouns, adjective, or how to form sentence or questions. On the other hand, false beginners think that they know about English because of past exposure. For instance, they have spent countless hours studying English, but they can't hold an English conversation with a native speaker. So, it's up to you to diagnose your student language proficiency levels and prepare teaching English material to beginner on the basics.
Still scampering around trying to plan teaching English to beginner material? Here are 6 steps to teach English to beginner like a pro. 1. Keep it simple. This is one of the most important steps to teach English to beginners. Many newbie teachers make the mistake of using too much English when giving their student instruction, praise, or other feedback. For instance, saying, "You guys know we're going to look at a new structure today, so let's get the textbook out." In ESL, beginner lesson makes you sound like you're from Mars. Instead, say something like this: "Take out your textbook, okay?" with an okay side if it's culturally appropriate in the country you're teaching in. Gestures are super important and help beginners better understand. Even when the classroom English seems clear to you, this tip will save your life if you're teaching English to complete the beginners. 2. Always check for understanding. A rookie mistake many persons teaching English to complete beginners make it assuming that the student have understood the lesson or classroom instruction. In your first lesson for beginners, adult or kids, your student may not be accustomed to Western way of schooling, where students raise their hands if they don't understand. Instead, they maybe feel embarrassed to admit ignorance in front of the class and prefer to remain silent. When teaching beginner English, you need to read your students' body language to gauge whatever they've understood and keep checking whether they've understood. By asking "okay," students will let you know directly or subtly whether they've got it or not. Okay, the next material will be read by Sinta.
Okay, I will continue the material. My name is Sinta Nisrina Adiba. Third, give them lots of time to practice. In ESL beginner lessons, you cannot expect your students to get it immediately. You need to provide lots of examples, check for understanding, and then ensure that your class has enough time to practice what you've just taught them. That when teaching beginners English, this usually means drilling the students, making them listen and repeat the language structure several times after you, and then having them practice it individually or with other students. Make sure to let them know that it's okay to mess up during practice time so they don't feel pressured to be perfect on the first try. Fourth, show, don't tell. One of the steps to teach English to beginners is to show, not tell in the classroom. Students will better understand what you are trying to say if you use visual cues rather than spill a lot of words in their direction. What does this mean exactly? Instead of saying, let's learn the passive tense, practice how to teach basic English by giving clear examples of the target language structure with simple drawings, pictures, short skits, and exaggerated gestures. Fifth, always use positive reinforcement. Here's another one of the steps to teach English to beginners. If someone gives an incorrect answer, don't yell, you are wrong. Never ever embarrass a student in front of the entire classroom. You will scare him or her for life, and he or she will hate English forever because of you. Instead, try to create a friendly atmosphere in the classroom by praising your students often even when they make mistakes. For instance, when doing English teaching for beginners, if they get the word right but just mispronounce it, say something like, okay, good, and then repeat the word with the correct pronunciation so that you don't shame the students and the rest of the class gets to hear the right way to say it. And last, don't be boring. English teaching for beginners doesn't have to feel like pulling teeth. Instead, use lots of games to encourage your students to practice and produce the language you've taught. Also, incorporate your students' interests so they want to learn. For instance, don't use Garfield if they love Hello Kitty. Also, nothing's more dull than making students read from the textbook and fill in lame worksheets with lots of text and zero images. The sky's the limit regarding how to teach basic English. Throw the interwebs for awesome ideas that will keep your students engaged throughout the lesson. That's all from our group. Thank you for watching and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.